You may be in this strange position where, on paper, your retirement projections look fine, but month to month, life still feels tight. You're earning well, but you can't see how you'd ever step back from your current job. If that's you, this video is about the missing middle. What actually changes when your future is on track, even though you still need a high income today. Here's a pattern I see all the time. You save diligently, monthly pension contributions, ISA maxed out, maybe some taxable investments on the top. You look at your portfolio and think, this isn't enough. I can't live on this. I need to keep pushing. And you're right. You can't live on it today, but that's not what it's for. The real question isn't, can I retire on this now? It's this, is my future already founded? Because if the answer is yes, you've already reached what I call freedom layer 2. Your future is compounding towards independence. Your present still needs income, but the pressure to keep optimizing earnings, that part becomes optional. Most high earners don't realize they've crossed the line. They keep optimizing for layer 3, full financial independence, even when layer 2 is already secure. Once your future is founded, adding more doesn't really make you safer. It just pushes the life you really want further away. Layer 2 isn't the finish line, but it is a point where grinding becomes optional. So what is freedom layer 2? Layer 2 is a point where your pension and ISA, left alone, are on track to grow into full independence by your target retirement age. If you've heard this described elsewhere, this is often called coast fire. I don't love the name, and the US version doesn't translate well into the UK, but the underlying idea is sound. It's the point where your future is already founded, even though your present still needs income. You don't need to add more or push harder. You need to protect the structure that lets compounding do its job. What changes is that now you have options. If you're staying where you are, you can leave a toxic role even without the next job lined up. You can take the equity bet instead of a guaranteed corporate bonus. You can say no to the promotion that quietly turns into a 60-hour week. You can choose the interesting client over the highest paying one. If you're willing to make more change and restructure geographically, you can relocate to a low-cost area, move closer to family support, and reduce what you need to earn to maintain your quality of life. Same engine running in the background, different ways to use the space it creates. Pressure moves from accumulation to protection. You stop asking, how do I squeeze out more? And you start asking, what do I actually want? Here's a key idea people miss. At layer 2, you're no longer building freedom through effort. You're building it through time. Your pension and ISA are no longer containers. They become a compounding engine. Once the engine is large enough, time does the work more than you do. For example, someone in their late 30s with 300,000 or 400,000 pounds invested, even with the minimal contributions going forward, doesn't really need heroic returns to reach independence by their 60s. The growth comes from time, not optimization. And this is more achievable than it sounds. Here's what I mean. With the UK's pension allowance, £60,000 at the time of recording this video, a few focus years can get you to that point without decimating your take-home pay. Someone earning £150,000 a year can reach 300k in pension savings in under 6 years through salary sacrifice, often reducing their tax bill in the meanwhile. And this is without considering any compounding through the investment. For high earners, layer 2 isn't a 20-year grind. It's often a 5 to 7 years build, followed by decades of compounding doing the work for you. So the question is never, is X pounds enough? It's this, is my engine already big enough so that time can help me finish the job? For most people, the answer becomes yes, far earlier than they expect. Once that engine is running, adding more fuel doesn't really change the destination. It only changes how hard you have to live now. That realization changed everything for me. I reached freedom layer 2 in May 2024, but I didn't realize it for months, not only because I didn't have the language back then, but also because I was so focused on the final goal, full financial independence at 47 with a bridge fund to cover the years until 57, which is my pension access age. So layer 2 never felt like a milestone. It just felt like not enough yet. I was earning well, head off at a FTSE 250 tech company, pension contributing automatically, ISA maxed every April. Then the opportunity for relocation came up. This is when I actually ran the numbers. And the math said, your future is founded. Even if I never added another pound into my pension, it was still projected to grow into independence by 57. That moment didn't feel like freedom. It felt like permission. to stop optimizing for the maximum and start to ask a better question. What do I actually want money to do? That clarity gave me the confidence to make a decision I never thought I'd make. I relocated to countries with a newborn, left my corporate role, started writing a compound, not because I was already financially independent. I still needed income, I still had living costs, but my future was no longer tied to stay in that role. Here's how I thought it through. What do I lose if I relocate? Job security, but I've already built a decent runway. Pension contribution, but I didn't need to add another pound. My UK salary, but the cost of living would drop by 30 to 50%. Expensive childcare replaced by family support and cheaper options. The income I needed to live my life dropped significantly. That meant I could take bigger risks on work that actually mattered to me. Layer 2 didn't magically make me brave. It gave me the structure so I could live without undo what I've already built. What changed was the pressure, from accumulation to maintenance, from maximizing to choose what actually matters now. When I set the original goal, financial independence at the age of 47, I was optimizing for maximum freedom later. Becoming a mother changed that. Time flexibility now mattered more than full independence as soon as possible. Layer 2 gave me the permission to make that shift, to choose differently now instead of waiting for another decade for a perfect number. That's what future secured really means. Not that your present become completely flexible, but that you can make thoughtful bets without every decision feeling overwhelming. Now you might be thinking, that sounds right, but I still need $6,000 a month today. I still have a mortgage. How do I step back without breaking what I've already built? That's a real challenge. That question is exactly why I wrote The Compound. Because Layer 2 isn't useful on its own. It only works if you have systems you trust. In the book, I don't just explain the idea, I show you how to design around it. How to design security across timelines so short-term risk and long-term uncertainty don't derail you. Build a compound engine you can trust, one that works in the background without constant efforts from you. Protect yourself from lifestyle creep and effortlessly convert income into lasting wealth. And use the UK system properly, ISAs, SIPs, and access ages to build options and flexibility long before retirement. That's a full picture. Security, capacity, choice. Layer 2 is the foundation. The compound is the operating system. So if this video has shifted anything for you, here's a real takeaway. You don't need to be fully financially independent to start changing your life. You just need to recognize a moment when your future is already founded, even if your present still needs income. That's the moment when optimization stops being mandatory and design becomes possible. In the next video, I will show you why financial independence isn't the end goal at all. It's a mechanism, and how the UK system, pension and ISAs together, is actually designed to create flexibility long before retirement. If you don't want to miss that, subscribe. This is a 3-part series, and each part is building on the last. I'll see you in the next video.